because then we can start. This is an informal gathering, so we're not worried about anything here being perfect. It's about getting together to honor and remember the many people we lost. And as you can see on the table here, there's some different books. And of course, you know, I lost family members that I'll never get to meet, so some of that is here, but there's other books, and there's a lot you can read if you want to read about the Holocaust. On your song sheet, or the beginning of your packet, is a song by Hannah Senish. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer le'olam, hacho v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tilad hadam, hacho v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tvilad hadam. O God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Holocaust Remembrance Day was fixed by the Israeli government during the 1950s as an annual observance on the Hebrew date corresponding to the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising in April 1943. 6 candles are lit in memory of the 6 million, and 2 additional candles are lit in honor of the righteous and the liberators, these non-Jews who risked their lives to save the lives of their Jewish friends and neighbors. We've got Brenda coming to light the first candle and then use one of these microphones. Come stand back here, if you don't mind, because then if there's people hopefully joining us on YouTube, they will hear you.
Here's some interesting info that I recently learned, and I just feel the need to share because it blew me away. Yanis Korczak was a well-known doctor and author who ran a Jewish orphanage in Warsaw from 1911 to 1942. Korczak and his staff stayed with their children even as German authorities deported them all to their deaths at Treblinka in 1942. Yanis Korczak was the pen name of Henryk Goldschmidt, a Polish-Jewish doctor and author. He developed groundbreaking views on raising children, urging adults to treat them with both love and respect. In late July 1942, German authorities began the mass deportation of hundreds of thousands of Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto to the deaths at the Treblinka killing center. Korczak's Polish friends outside of the ghetto offered to help him escape the deportations by hiding him or providing him with false identity documents. Korczak would not consider leaving, however. He and his staff decided they would not attempt to save themselves. Rather, they would continue taking care of the children for as long as they possibly could. Virtually all of the Jews who survived the deadly journey from the Warsaw Ghetto to Treblinka in the summer of 1942 were murdered shortly after their arrival. The children and their caretakers were almost certainly all killed the day they arrived at Treblinka. Korczak was equally proud of his Polish nationality and his Jewish identity. He is celebrated by Polish and Jewish communities alike for his life's work and the sacrifices he made for the children in his care.
Etienne, come light a candle. Come light one candle over there. Just light the candle, and then you'll read. Great. Just one candle, yeah. Here, let me get it for you. I don't want to burn you, so if you want me to just do it. You can do it? You want to do it? You know how to do it? It takes teamwork. Let me just do this. I'll hand it to you. Unless I can't do it, which is possible. Careful. Oh, these are our favorite matches. Yeah, that might work, yeah. You're going to burn yourself. Okay, next time, drop it if it's like that. Don't burn yourself or blow really hard. Did you get burnt? You okay? Let me give this a shot. Let me just do it. I've got it for you. Get the reading ready, okay? Awesome. Because you did it. You really did it. It's going to stay right here. Now I'm going to burn myself. Okay. Come over here with the microphone.
This is called Never Shall I Forget by Elie Wiesel. Never shall I forget that night, the first night in the camp, which has turned my life into one long night, 7 times cursed and 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget that smoke. Never shall I forget the little faces of the children whose bodies I saw turned into wreaths of smoke beneath a silent blue sky. Never shall I forget those flames which consumed my faith forever. Never shall I forget that nocturnal silence which depraved me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments which murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to dust. Never shall I forget these things, even if I am condemned to live as long as God himself. Never.
And guess what? Since I lit your candle for you, see if you can light one for me, and I'm going to read the next part. Okay? Very careful. Don't use all the matches because we need them for the other ones. Poem by Zelda, who was born in 1914 in Russia, translated by Marcia Falk. Zelda Shnursky Mishkovsky, well known in Israel. Use one of the other candles, Etienne, like I did. Etienne. Put the match, yeah. And then light one candle with it. Very carefully. Put the matchbox down. And then blow out your match real fast. Each of us has a name. Each of us has a name given by God and given by our parents. Each of us has a name given by our stature and our smile, and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longings. Each of us has a name given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons, given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death. Come behind and use a microphone.
To every person there is a name given to him by God and his parents, wrote the Israeli poet Zelda. Every single victim of the Holocaust had a name. The vast number of Jews who perished in the Holocaust, some 6 million men, women, and children, is beyond human comprehension. We are therefore liable to lose sight of the fact that each life that was brutally ended belonged to an individual, a human being endowed with feelings, thoughts, ideas, dreams, whose entire world was destroyed and whose future was erased. The annual recitation of names of the victim of the on Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day, is one way of posthumously restoring the victim's name, of commemorating them as individuals. We seek in this manner to honor the memory of the victims, to grapple with the enormity of the murder, and to combat Holocaust denial and distortion. On this day of remembrance, we recall the following children who perished during the Holocaust.
Did you get a list of names too?
Yisroel Mermelstein, 5 years old, Auschwitz. Deborah Veffer, 5 years old, Auschwitz. Henya Heidelhak, 5 years old, Birkenau. Yossi Lipovetsky, 10 years old, Odessa. Yitzhak Better, age 5, Bolochisk. Zissel Ehrenfeld, age 5, Auschwitz. Agisa Lebovic, age 5, Auschwitz. Trima Katzenelnbogen, age 1, Proskorov. Isya Blackman, aged 7,
Thank you.
Dogapils. Clarika Alterak, age 6, Jakovo. Marilla Blackman, aged 6, Treblinka. Miklos Weiss, aged 7, Auschwitz. Hannah Fixler, age 9, Auschwitz. Fega Nuhemovich, age 5, Auschwitz. Esterina Tatsartis, aged 8, Auschwitz. Judita Ehrenfeld, age 5, Auschwitz. Chayela Rosenwach, age 4. Ludwig Schein, age 5, Belzec. Chaim Zentelreich, age 4. Kasia Perlmutter, age 7, Zidrowitz. Janscha Deutsch, aged 8, Sobibor. Shaya Baik, age 6, Dabrowica. Yaakov Yofi, age 4, Riga. Yitzi Osowitsky, age 6, Auschwitz. Rivka Ackerstein, age 4, Treblinka.
Ida Gorkovaskaya, age 6, Kolay. Sophie Sapir, age 3, Rowan. Rikana Oko, age 8, Belvy. Georges Cass, age 7. Alicia Kulig, age 5, Treblinka. Droya Messner, age 6, Auschwitz. Frema Wildman, age 4. Savek Klinker, age 7, Auschwitz. Yakov Barkowitz, age 9, Auschwitz. Mark Katz, age 6, Minsk. Todek Gandlin, age 3, Podobrianka. Yada Zilberwig, age 3, Majdanek. Miriam Brinkwerg, age 8, Kalmano. Lena Zurakovia, age 5. Lor Luberstein, age 8, Auschwitz. Ioka Kislyov, age 4, Liozano. Hisek Markowitz, age 7, Auschwitz. Shmulik Styskin, age 4, Lodozaskaya. Sari Moskowitz, age 10, Demblin. Nana Grossinger, age 6, Auschwitz. Avram Friedman, age 10, Auschwitz. Tatiana Vengorova, age 5, Doborsky Yar. Barel Hillelson, age 3, Kunis. Itzhai Simitiki, age 3, Bialystok. Itzhak Schwartz, age 2, Poloway.
Surya Carlin, age 6, Waronwal. Thaddeus Zilberstein, age 5, Warsaw. Laje Rosenfeld, age 6, Auschwitz. Surlik Nyberg, age 6, Voronka. Maurice Diamond, age 9, Auschwitz. Ajzik Blager, age 9, Auschwitz. Zaim Abbas, age 6, Kostikovici. Beryl Eisen, age 3, Odessa. Gittel Gus, age 3, location unknown. Guri Seisler, age 8, Auschwitz. Jaksky Tevjovitz, age 5, Auschwitz. Bella Bujor, age 6, Kozalti. Oya Poliu, age 6, Melitopol. Selinka Bronstein, age 6, Ponari. Gittel Berkovich, age 6, Kamensk-Podolsky. Israel Frig, age 5, Minsk. Morda Seskind, age 5, location unknown. Itka Ajler, age 10, location unknown. Kaika Parnas, age 8, Balti. Yisrael Steiner, age 9, Auschwitz. Freddie Muller, age 5, Auschwitz. Schulmont Sachter, age 3, location unknown.
The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone, such a yellow is carried lightly way up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone. For 7 weeks I've lived in here, pent up inside this ghetto. But I have found my people here. The dandelions called to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone. poet who wrote this poem, Pavel Friedman, died in Terezin at the age of 14.
This is called Shema by Primo Levi. He spent 11 months in Auschwitz before the camp was liberated by the Red Army on the 18th of January, 1945. You who live secure in your warm houses, who return at evening to find hot food and friendly faces, consider whether this is a man who labors in the mud, who knows no peace, who fights for a crust of bread, who dies at a yes or no. Consider whether this is a woman without hair or name, with no more strength to remember, eyes empty and a womb cold as a frog in winter. Consider that this has been, I commend these words to you, engrave them on your hearts, when you are in your house, when you walk on your way, when you go to bed, when you rise. Repeat them to your children, or may your house crumble. Disease render you powerless. Your offspring avert their faces from you.
Yizkor for the Righteous Gentiles by Rani Yeager. Remember, people of Israel, the righteous Gentiles, who have placed their own lives in danger for the sake of our persecuted and tortured brothers and sisters during the Shoah, 1939 to 1945, and who were as shining stars in the overwhelming darkness of evil. Those who spoke out at a time of silence, those who offered sanctuary and a lease on life in the eye of the murderous storm, those who upheld those who were falling and extended a helping hand, food, and clothing, who answered the cry of men, women, and children, men and women, workers of the land and city dwellers, of humble standing and of high rank, people of faith and conscience. In the very valley of the shadow of death, these men and women stood by our people, and from the fiery inferno they saved the few and the many. And where there were no human beings, they were human. Remember, people of Israel, their grandness of spirit, their heroism, and their pure hearts. May God bind their souls in the bundle of life, and may it come to pass as it was written, as the whirlwind passes, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation.
A special memorial prayer. O God of Israel, we remember the countless numbers of our people who have suffered unspeakable agonies and death. Some were silent sufferers, some rebelled, all were murdered. Some are still remembered by friends and loved ones. Others have vanished with no earthly remembrance. We plead that you will remember all of them, that you will hold them in your heart, that they will find their peace with you. God of our fathers and mothers, our eyes are now witnesses for the suffering of Israel. Our hearts have been torn as we mourn for our people. We will not forget one single thing, not forget to the last generation, lest we ignore threats to our people and all human degradation, or we've learned nothing, nothing at all.
We end our service or program, it's really not a service, with one more, singing Eli, Eli, written by Hannah Senish, who was also executed during this whole terrible time in our history. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer le'olam, HaShoah v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam, HaShoah v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam. O God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer le'olam, HaShoah v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam, HaShoah v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for participating in our little program. And may we never forget, may we strive for kindness and peace and understanding and love.
I want to thank Maura Marion for putting this together and so beautifully and sensitively leading this program. And I think it's appropriate to end and stand for Kaddish. I know it's not in here, but maybe we'll know it from memory, or you can just offer the amens. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha. B'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlam ha'rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May they know peace, and may the one who makes peace above bring peace below to us and to all who dwell on this earth. May we never experience such horror. May we all know the oneness of the one and the eternal and live in that way forever.